Hi there everyone. So unfortunately, I became a victim of the epidemic of counterfeit Pokemon Game Boy games that are floating around out there on eBay. These took a while to get here from the seller. The seller, supposedly is in the United States because they're registered as with the item coming from Florida. But it took about at least 3 weeks to get here, so that makes me think that these were pretty much shipped to the seller from China before the seller shipped them to me. So anyway, they finally arrived today, and before I had ordered them, I was just kind of looking around. I thought it would be cool to get some Pokemon games. And then after I ordered them, like 3 or 4 days afterwards, I saw a really good video explaining that there are a lot of fakes out there, and some things to look out for, such as making sure the the labels are holographic, making sure the transparencies are right. Like for instance, Leaf Green and Fire Red are both supposed to be about this transparency, but there are a lot of much more obvious fakes out there that have this transparency pretty much being equal to this one. So anyway, I eyeballed that and also looked at the labels and looked at how glossy they all are. They're all pretty holographic. They're pretty convincing on that aspect. But I probably can't really tell this in camera, but I can tell this in person. Like, they kind of seem like a little too perfect since they're all like very uniformly glossy. And obviously the actual games would have come out and been printed in different months and different years. So this whole set kind of looks suspiciously uniformly just a little bit worn, if that makes any sense. One thing I don't know if you can tell, hopefully maybe you can if I hold this really close. This Pokemon logo and the Fire Red logo, the font seems like not very fluid. They're not very fluid. It's very pixelated. I don't know if this will really show up on camera again, but here's a legitimate copy of Pokemon Blue in comparison. You know, it's very vibrant, very legible, and very easy to read. And in comparison, there's that one. Let's see, otherwise, what else is there? The backs of the games look pretty convincing. The font's probably a little bit off where it says made in Japan and model number and all that stuff. Let's see, down in here, they all have a Nintendo, the word Nintendo on the chipset in there. I think there was an inconsistency among them though. But this one's a little bit dirtier. But you probably can't see that anyway though. So just from inspecting them very thoroughly, as soon as I opened these up, I pretty much figured they were fakes just from there. And the suspicions were later confirmed when I put one of them in my Game Boy and fired it up. Let's see, maybe I can zoom out here. Nope, I'm all the way zoomed out, so. Oh well. Oops. Alright, there's a good sign. This isn't even doing anything this time, actually. It's also, the cartridge is in there a little crooked. You can tell this end is protruding out a little bit more. That's something I didn't even notice earlier, was that these cartridges are kind of hard to put in. There we go, that snapped pretty well, pretty uniformly. Okay, so it seems pretty legit, seems pretty convincing. And here's the startup menu. But here's the big dead giveaway. The previous save file will be loaded. The game can be played. Now obviously a legitimate copy of Pokemon does not say that when you first load it up. And I went ahead and called this name Fake, because it is a fake cartridge. Let's see, one more thing about the cartridges is the physical sizes of them. What I noticed when I put one of these cartridges in my Game Boy is that the bottom of the cartridge here is protruding a little bit, and I can kind of feel that when I rub my thumb down here. And that's something that popped out at me right away, because I never felt that with a legitimate cartridge. In comparison, here's my authentic cartridge of Metroid Fusion. When I put this in there, it's very flush. And those two surfaces mate very well. So these fake cartridges are a little bit longer by just a hair. And they're also shorter this way. Like when I put them down this way, Metroid Fusion here is thicker than the fake Pokemon ones. So, well, I guess that's about it. Just wanted to throw out, I guess, a service announcement to beware for these fake games out there if you go shopping on eBay for them. So, since I've noticed that they're all fakes, I'm gonna definitely just contact the seller and say I want my money back, and I'm gonna send these back to you. So, keep an eye out. See you later.